When you're talking about cases where audiences and critics disagreed on a movie, you have to talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is easily one of the most famous examples in recent times, easily, because that movie is so divisive, so polarizing, to the point that the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is at like 90%. The audience score is at like 50%. I don't remember the exact percentages, but something like that. There's a huge gap between the critic score versus the audience score. So, why is that the case? Well, I think in this case, the problem is that critics were just looking at the movie from the standpoint of, is this a good movie? But they weren't thinking, is this a good Star Wars movie? Does it work in the franchise that it's actually a part of? Or does it work as the middle chapter of a trilogy? Does it work as part 8 out of 9? The eighth part of a 9-part Skywalker saga that's been going on for decades at this point, that a lot of people have become very emotionally invested in. For me, I don't think that Last Jedi works as a Star Wars movie. The other part of this is the critics just went, well, I mean, the movie looks great. The cinematography, lighting, all that is really good. The movie's exploring deep, rich themes, and it subverts your expectations, which makes a difference. So that means it's a good movie. What my standpoint is that I don't like a character being torn down or regressed off screen. That's what you get with Luke in The Last Jedi. My perspective is that if you're going to do this kind of thing to a character, especially a character like Luke, that a lot of people have become very emotionally invested in, if you're going to do this kind of thing to a beloved character, you need to earn it. Don't just undo all of their prior accomplishments, turn them into sad old failures off screen, and then just include a few flashbacks in the movie to explain why the character has had such a big fall from grace. I don't think that works. Now, yeah, I can agree that on a purely visual level, sure, the movie looks good, but I think aside from Luke, I would say that the movie doesn't provide a good enough reason why it is that Hodo keeps her plan a secret. So it feels to me like it's very contrived. It feels to me like the movie is just forcing Hodo to not say what her plan is at all, just for the sake of forcing in drama, for the sake of forcing in conflict that doesn't feel natural. Also, yeah, I can appreciate subverting expectations, which is the phrase this movie has become so well known for, but I would say that doing something different just for the sake of being different isn't necessarily a good thing. Also, I think this movie very much makes it clear that there was no plan for the sequel trilogy. It shows that Kathleen Kennedy did not know what she was doing at all. I think that Last Jedi does not work as the middle chapter of a trilogy, doesn't work as part 8 out of 9, unless I think Rian Johnson derailed the sequel trilogy by going in the direction he did. He's even come out and said that he just wanted to burn the ship into the sea. He wanted to basically end the story, even though this is the middle chapter of a trilogy and it's part 8 out of 9. That doesn't work for me at all. Also, I think the tone of the ending really doesn't make sense. So, man, the case of The Last Jedi, I think that the critics just got this one wrong. It's like they think that, hey, if a movie's part of a franchise, well, it doesn't need to work as part of that franchise. All that matters in a case like this is whether it works on its own. I would say, no, if you're going to put your movie in a franchise, it needs to work in the franchise. If you're going to have your movie be the middle chapter of a trilogy, it needs to work as the middle chapter of a trilogy. If you're going to have your movie come right before the big conclusion to the Skywalker saga, it should actually help to set up that big conclusion to the Skywalker saga, which I think The Last Jedi does not do.